comfortably, enjoying yourself. Um, I am going to be talking about user stories, I think they're called. However, just a small little brief thing. It's all about time, and it's about creating time for ourselves and creating time for our future generations. So if you're listening to this in a kind of, what's he talking about, then you're probably doing it the wrong way. I think we should be living our lives where every day is an opportunity rather than, today I have to do this. That's mechanical, and I'm part of this machine. And I think that the confluence system is a mechanism to give us, enable us to take more control of our time and our lives and our destiny, our future. So anyway, with that, I hope you're relaxed. Have a nice time. User scenarios. This, if other people produce videos on how they think the confluence system, as much as they understand it to be, might actually be able to help them. I'm going to give five examples. I had played a computer game, and it's called Armageddon, and it's based on Tron, the old film, and it's great fun. The trick is, how do we organize ourselves to play? How do we organize our team? And we kind of have, wikis, we have forums, and then you can chat during the game, but it's phenomenally difficult for some reason. So I'm thinking maybe it's better if we have a confluence. This confluence system could enable me to see what different people's intentions are towards playing on a certain day in the future. So there might be one for next week and one, next month. And that would be a specific projection. I'm hoping to play on this day. And I'm hoping that we're going to practice this, or we're going to play this, or something like that. Okay, so get different people's projections. There we go. So as we go forwards, without having arguments and discussions, I can just see what other people's plans are. And therefore the team roster can actually be kind of generated relatively easily. And also we could do the coupling system to describe, whether I like playing, I like playing about midfield to defence, not so much in attack. And different people will be able to say their things, and the ones that are going, you'll be able to see the availability and see, because of the coupling system, who fits with whom. And, the decision system could be, who specifically is going to be in the team or not, and you can have a decision box open and so on. Right. Another one, school. I'm working, all right, I work, okay, and I really do have to go out again at certain times. I actually move on the bell, the bell goes and I move, just like an animal. I'd like that to change. Anyway, but the school that I'm working at is very interesting, because the teachers are working in a very interesting way. They're not just following books. What they're doing is they're inventing things. They're kind of thinking of what their lessons are going to be based on the kids and how they were like yesterday or the day before, and they kind of invent a new lesson for the next lesson. It's quite labour intensive, and they're producing lots of material, but there's a very difficult way of sharing it. And what they're doing currently is they're actually storing it all onto a computer, in effect. It's just like an old filing system, but they're doing that with computers, which is just shocking. And what we really need is a completely different way of sharing information and sharing this kind of processual knowledge, i.e. how to be able to teach the next class. Because we're sharing similar classes with similar abilities and so on and so forth. And I like the idea of this kind of flowing. Instead of flocking, I kind of think more like geese, in that kind of V shape that you get. So somebody's ahead and is teaching the year 8s, and that information that they used, the two teachers behind them, kind of stagger slightly behind, maybe a day behind, can use those resources that teachers used and use it in their classes, and then maybe somebody behind them. And the one that's sort of like second or third place in this kind of V shape might be leading with year 9s. And then, do you see it? So different individuals can be leading and finding the resource and the materials for any specific year group or any specific topic. And it might be for 2 weeks or something. Right, so the idea is that we have this kind of flow of information and movement. And I think that the confluence system could work for that, could help. I think, right? And if you could do that in one school, can you imagine lots of different people doing it in different schools? I'm just using this, just doing this system where I'm confluencing with other maths teacher and other departments, other schools. Cool. And I could probably confluence with those that for some reason think quite similarly to me. Yeah. Yeah. So that means that the way that they lead and the way that they teach their lessons, I'll look at their lesson plans and, oh yeah, that works for me as well. Anyway, right, what time? 5, right, okay. What about if we, setting up this thing, this sprint. This sounds like a confluence or what? We're saying, we're going to have this Christmas sprint, pre-Christmas sprint, this is the time, this is the days, and this is what we're hoping to do. Different people will have different intentions of what's actually going to happen, so you can write that down, define it. The coupling systems, different people are saying, well, I know somebody who's just like a designer, but they don't know any programmers. So they say, right, okay, well, I'm interested in doing that. Coupling system, this is my skills. My skills are da-da-da-da-da. And then hopefully the coupling system kind of throws back at this individual and says, right, okay, well, there are these people that might actually work well with you. And they can get in contact with them and say, look, are you going to do this pre-Christmas sprint? Because it looks like, and they get the same results. And you go, okay, it's quite interesting. And so it might assist in the formation of teams. Interesting. Another thing, if this convoluted system works, I think it's kind of like revolutionary, evolutionary. It in the same way that you've got like a browser, and there are different browsers to check out the internet. I think that this is browser is a kind of application, and you get photo manipulation applications, and you get sound applications. Well, I think that this is an application that I think we could approach Apple with. I think that I think the way Apple work, I think to produce the products that they have, it might be a chain of command, but it's a very conducive one. But they might go, yeah, that's the way we work. And so if we presented this to them, they may go, that's the way we work. It resonates. That's the only reason you're watching this, is because the ideas seem to resonate in some form. And the idea is, if the system works to some extent, I like the idea of, for example, flowing who's got a little bit of money, who's got the guts, who's got the connections, and we can actually like pitch Steve Jobs. So like in a year's time, Apple at their Steve Jobs is presenting to his 500 people in the show in his in California, this new browser, this new application, it's the Confluence system, or whatever their version is. It's like this. Because for me, it doesn't really matter if it's this called the Confluence system. It's not to do with proprietary rights. It's to do with the fact that it works. And if it works and it's actually improving Confluence and it's freeing us up so opportunities arise, I don't care who uses it. I don't care what products. I think it should all be free. But right. Okay, the final one, 2020 World Peace. There you go. World Peace for 2020, or at least the opportunity. I've got my definitions, I can define that, my projection, other people have theirs. And then I would have kind of established projections before that. It's called backcasting. If you check that out on Wikipedia, if you search for thought experiments, you will find backcasting, and this is one of them. And so the idea is that different people will have their projections. I'll be interested in finding out what people, even at this stage, might actually think these things, and then I could get some kind of engagement with them, find out what kind of personalities they are in some form using the coupling system, and perhaps get together and actually start doing stuff. And I can actually see what people's daily intentions are about trying to create the opportunity for world peace, and if not for 2020 at any point. And it would just be interesting. I just want to see this in a very easy way. I just want to see this. I'd like to see it visually. Any extra bonus points for anybody producing some GUIs or whatever that are, give graphics and vectors and so on and so forth, I would love. But for now, I think it might just be word-based. I hope that's enough. I think I've blabbed for long enough. If you've sat through this for 5 minutes? I can't really believe you have. But if you have, I really want to meet you.